Hey, go eat a hamburger. You're so skinny, it's disgusting.
Hey, are you okay? I heard what happened.
Yeah, I'm okay. They always pick on me for being so skinny, but they don't know what I'm struggling with.
Oh, do you have an eating disorder?
Yeah, I struggle with anorexia nervosa. Not a lot of people know about eating disorders, so they make fun of me.
Yeah, I actually don't know a lot about them. I never really thought it was a big deal, and I only started hearing about them since I started high school here.
Really? Eating disorders have been around for hundreds of years. The first documentation of self starvation was as early as the 4th century, and there have been a lot of historical accounts of anorexia nervosa. For example, in the 17th and 18th centuries, women between the ages of 14 to 20 read about medieval saints who starved themselves, so they did. They were called miraculous maids.
No way, I've never heard of any of those stories.
Yeah, it wasn't until the 1800s that the field came together to study and give it the name anorexia nervosa, even though the symptoms had been described centuries ago. And it wasn't until 1979 that Gerald Russell formally characterized bulimia nervosa. That's almost 100 years ago.
Wait, what's bulimia nervosa? Is that the eating disorder where someone makes himself throw up?
Yeah, purging is a symptom of bulimia nervosa, but there is much more to it. There's a lot that goes into assessing and diagnosing an eating disorder.
Okay, how do you tell if someone has an eating disorder then?
Well, take the example of someone who has bulimia nervosa. Bulimia is characterized by a cycle of binging and behaviors such as self induced purging, excessive exercise, misuse of laxative or diuretics, and fasting.
Oh, I always thought that someone only had an eating disorder if they didn't eat.
No, there's actually a bunch of different kinds of eating disorders. The one you're referring to is anorexia nervosa. That's the one I was diagnosed with. People with this eating disorder restrict their diet to a point where they have extremely low body weight due to their fear of gaining weight. My mom noticed certain habits I had, like obsessive interest in food, counting my calorie intake, severe self esteem loss due to my body image, and my inability to accept the severity of the situation.
Are anorexia nervosa and bulimia nervosa the only type of eating disorders?
No way! There are a bunch of eating disorders: pica, rumination disorder, avoidant restrictive intake disorder, binge eating disorder, anorexia nervosa, bulimia nervosa, and more.
Wow, I didn't know there are so many. They all sound so awful.
Eating disorders really are awful. They affect every organ system in our bodies, from problems with circulation and reproductive to cognitive impairment to even dental problems. The malnourishment from eating disorders contributes to so many medical complications. That's why hospitalization is required for some complications and also why eating disorders have such a high mortality rate. Malnourishment is defined as a deficit to macronutrients and micronutrients, which may result in a low BMI or extreme weight loss. Someone is considered malnourished if they have lost 10% of their body weight, no matter the weight they've started at.
So someone doesn't have to be skinny to be considered malnourished.
No, someone can be malnourished even with a normal or high BMI. When someone has an eating disorder, the first thing their body does is slow down the rate at which they use energy. Their heart rate is decreased to less than 45 beats per minute, which increases their chance of cardiac arrest, and their cardiac output can be decreased, which may cause dizziness, fainting, or cold and blue hands and feet.
What happens to the other systems of the body of someone who has an eating disorder?
There's usually a very serious decrease in neurological abilities, including decrease in memory, learning, organization, judgment, and concentration. The effects of eating disorders on the reproductive system can be potentially irreversible, including incomplete pubertal development, absent menstrual periods, and decreased sex drive. If linear growth is not complete, height stunting and a decrease in bone density are potential irreversible effects. You may see someone with an eating disorder suffering from dry skin, hair loss, poor wound healing, and skin breakdown.
Whoa, eating disorders can really mess with someone's organ systems.
Yeah, in fact, eating disorders have the highest mortality rate of any psychiatric illness.
That's really scary. I wonder what causes people to develop an eating disorder. What they do to your body sounds awful. Those girls should really watch what they say.
Yeah,
Created using Powtoon.